All right, here we go. Greetings. This one's for you, dear Pisces. This is from Tarot Lumination. It's your little gift for April, late April, by the way. I'm calling this What Now? Okay. It's more like a little miniature weather report. I'm just focusing on a couple of key items. There's so much going on. It's a very swirly kind of month. And there's a couple of things that stand out to me that are what I think of as potentially hazardous. So we all need to be aware. We often take a lot of the good stuff, the sweet spots, for granted, and we just kind of roll with it. We think, oh, that's just life. I deserve that. And then when yucky things happen, we start to blame everything and everyone else, and everything's going wrong. But if you take it all as one thing, then you can kind of ride it like a surfer would ride a wave. Like if it's a bad wave, you stay out or you shift to the side or whatever surfers do. I'm not a professional surfer, so I don't really know, but I like watching it. I live right by a surf beach. Anyway, here we go. So Pisces, this is just need to know information. I'm not going to analyze it or forecast or anything. April 11th, just as this report's coming out, Jupiter goes retrograde in Sagittarius. That's actually, technically Sagittarius is challenging for you. The retrograde means, revising and reviewing everything in that department of your life, which is your 10th house. Mars is also going to be in Gemini all month. So you put those together. In a way, you've got kind of a loose, like T-square going on with you. So just be aware of that. April 19th, we've got the full moon in Libra against the Aries sun. April 20th, Sun enters Taurus. The very next day, Mercury is now in Aries. Venus is entering Aries very soon, okay? By the 25th, Pluto goes retrograde in Capricorn. And on the 30th, Saturn goes retrograde in Capricorn. So by the end of the month, we've got 3 heavy, serious retrogrades all at once. So if you feel as though all of a sudden your life is being pulled off to the side, or you're being pulled off to the side of the road in life, and you're being, let's say, questioned, you're being asked to be accountable for what's happening in your life, that would be normal, okay? So please allow for that. I'm going to go straight on to the stuff that I've alerted here. I've highlighted, I should say. This is what it looks like on a Tarot Lumination Astrodoodle. If you've been to the channel before, you might have seen some of these. So this is kind of a generic one for everyone. I put Aries on the horizon. In a moment, we'll twist it around so it puts Pisces on the horizon. So you would be the Pisces sun over here, and this would be the opposition over here in your 7th house, Virgo. Over here, your 8th house, Libra ruled, 9th house ruled by Scorpio, 10th house, Sagittarius, 4th house by Gemini over here. So just since we're here, I'm not going to twiddle it anymore for now. You can see this. I'm not going to put it on this map because it's just for you. The Jupiter Sagittarius thing is going to reach an opposition this month, and that's going to square off with all Pisceans. So you're going to have one of those T-square kind of red triangles right here. Probably it'll show up on the next pile of Astrodoodles. But meanwhile, this is what we're focusing on for this month. April the 20th, we have the Libra full moon, 29 degrees opposing the sun in Aries, 29 degrees. Moments later, the moon shifts into Scorpio, facing off directly with Uranus and Taurus, okay? So that's all, to me, the way I look at it, it's like just having like a double duty full moon. So there's a lot of stuff culminating here, coming into awareness, stuff that might have been murky or hidden or misunderstood, and it's going to come to the surface, and it's volatile. There's a lot of volatility associated with this because of the 29 degree. It's the anaretic degree. It's the point of critical mass where things are pushed to the maximum in terms of pressure before the energy leaves a sign and moves to the next. And then it comes over here strong again, simply because Uranus is there, the planet of volatility, and it's being faced off by the moon. That just amplifies the volatility and combustibility even more. And then to get even more serious, it's a bit of a loose square, but it's squared enough where you can see the Capricorn energies here are putting a lot of pressure on the relationship axis. This is the relationship axis, and it applies to everyone, wherever it lies in their chart, and how relationships are impacted in that part of your life. And for you, Pisces, it looks like this. So I'm not going to say anything more. If you need to get into more detail, you know where to come. Let's just get straight to the cards. Thank you for your patience. Watch for your sun, moon, and rising, especially if each one's different. You know what to do. Cross watch if you have to. Also, please invite your invisible friends. Okay, it really, really helps to expand the value of the reading when you do that. They're there, and they like to be invited. Okay, no jumpers, no flyers, no oracles, no reversals. The cards are well shuffled in advance of recording, but I like to go to the last second so that we are a witness to each other. Thank you, Pisces. Here we go. I'm just going to use a very simple spread, okay, but it's very powerful. So bless every single card on the deck. Bless you, Pisces, for being here. Bless Tarot Lumination, the whole channel, the cameras, everything, the technology, the electricity. Here we go. Here's the situation. Here's the challenges. Here's how we're going to handle it. And now let's have a look at circumstantial environmental influences. Let's call it the weather. So you have the Seven of Cups. My feeling is that the Seven of Cups is very closely associated, excuse me, let's get it like this, with the Neptune energy over here. I'm going to say that Neptune is over here in Pisces right now, right in the middle, at kind of like maximum power. It's been there for 7 years. It's going to be around for another 7 years, okay? It's a long journey. And I think this energy here with the Seven of Cups is very much to do with the swirling energies that are lingering from March and very early April, when there was a huge Pisces stellium. And some of it's very beautiful, okay? It's really, really good if like you're an artist of some kind, like somebody who relies very heavily on inspiration from the great beyond in order to be who you are. So that's a good thing, but it can also be very hard to handle. Can you imagine what it's like when it's almost like people who are not artists, for example, they find it sometimes very strange to go into the mindset of the artist. And it's almost like you're telling me to forget everything. You're telling me to tune into heaven. You're telling me to listen to my intuition and then just paint. And then Tarot Lumination says, yeah. Well, wait a minute. What about my day job? What about the kids? What about school? What about my reputation? I don't want people to think I'm weird. It's that kind of, and so it can be very hard to handle. Also, with the Seven of Cups here, my feeling is that this could be like divinely inspiring for you, and it would be very appropriate for you to get very tuned into what I think of as the energy of heaven and listening to your dreams. Sometimes I think of this as the genius card, where like how Einstein tuned into the laws of physics by laying down in his boat and staring up at the sky and waiting for the messages to come to him. Of course, he worked very hard to get to the point where he was able and competent enough to receive and understand the messages, but finally the ultimate message, E equals MC squared, came to him in a vision. This is the card of vision, okay? Having visions, having crazy, insane, spontaneous dreams that may not make any sense to anyone else, but there is value, there's content there. So please be aware of that. It can also be easy to get very lost in that kind of energy. You don't want to get involved in any kind of drugs or alcohol or narcotics or anything that could destabilize such a very delicate energy that already exists. Like, you don't want to make it harder than it has to be. What's the situation? Okay, another 7 here. I'm not a numerologist, but I'm sure some of you can read something into the 7s here. So with the 7 of Swords, my feeling that my first impression is to be very, very careful. When I'm seeing the 7 of Cups here and the 7 of Swords together, if you're surrounded by all this swirling, like hyper-imaginative, stimulating energy of heaven, it can also be very disorienting and leave you extremely vulnerable, and you're already vulnerable enough just being a Pisces, okay? And so when these kind of energies occur, which they will, okay, This is inevitable. This is just factual information. You can look at any ephemeris. You can go to NASA. And they use the same data that astrologers use in order to chart space travel and so on. This is fact. This is information. This is going to happen. Think of it as a ticking clock. Tick, 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 tick. We reach a crescendo here, and then we have to integrate from here onwards. What I'm suggesting is with the Seven of Cups over here, excuse me, with the Seven of Cups over here and the Seven of Swords over here, this journey could be very disorienting for you, and it could make you feel like you might want to cheat in order to get out of having to deal with some of the swirliness or the disruptions or the volatility. Like, how can I escape? How can I get out of this so I don't have to face it, so I don't have to deal with it? Okay, that's part of what happens with Neptune energy. It's the desire, because Pisceans can be so sensitive that they can't handle these kind of pressures. These kind of pressures are tough enough for everybody, but they could be even tougher for you, Pisces. So please be aware, you might be very, very tempted to escape. And that's kind of being negligent of your own karmic path. And so please be, to me it feels like, do what you have to do. You're going to have to do what you have to do. You're going to have to be very stealthy. This is the stealth card. You're going to have to be very careful that you don't trip up, that you don't allow anyone to trip you up, and you don't trip yourself up by escaping or trying to escape. However you describe escaping, escapism, okay? It's not allowed. To me, it looks like the temptation to escape and to succumb to escapism is very strong, and it's almost like the worst thing you could possibly do. However, you still have to do what you have to do to get done what has to be done in order to survive and get through this, okay? This is a timestamp, April 20th, the days before and the days after, all right? So my feeling is be very, very careful. It's like driving on black ice. Be very careful. It would be very hard to predict exactly the hows and the whys and the incidents of what, what are the details of how these extreme relationship dynamics play out. The volatility, the combustibility that plays out in the relationship aspect. Well, for you, it's over here. And the pressure, and this aspect here is under a lot of pressure from the Pluto and Saturn energy in Capricorn. It's a hard square. Well, it's a loose square, but it's a very heavy square, okay? So please be aware of that. What's the challenge with this? Okay? To me, it feels like I wish it didn't have to be this way. I wish I could be in a safe place with people that I love and people who love me, and I'm completely insulated and protected from all those scary things that Tarot Lumination was talking about. I totally understand you, Pisces. I totally get it. It's, everyone wants to be safe, wants to be happy. My feeling is that you might be feeling like if you're responding to these energies so much that it does make you wig out and scares you to the point where you want to escape, you want to like press the ejector button, you want to self-medicate or do anything to avoid having to deal with this stuff face on. I understand. And let's just say you're struggling with it and you do wig out and you find ways around and through the maze of all of this stuff to try and reduce the pressure on yourself. That would, like the side effect, the hangover effect, would be feeling as though like you're left out of the party, you're left out of the community, you're left out of the feeling of being part of what I would think of as a protected group. Almost like, how we talk about sometimes the Tarot Lumination love tribe, and that operates kind of like a wolf pack. We look after each other, we work as a team, and it's very, very nice to have that energy. And it's very, 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 very scary to feel like you're out of that. It's when you don't have like the security of like your loved ones, your friends and family, and like, especially with some of these dynamics here, sometimes in love and relationship, the ones who are closest to us can be our worst enemies. We don't know that. You know, Pisces, it's so easy for you to attract people who are not necessarily good for you or healthy for you, because you are the energy of ultimate compassion, and they see you and they think, wow, that's cool. They got a V for victim written on their forehead with a Post-it note, and they don't even know it. Yay. And you end up becoming a victim, okay, without even intending to. And so if you're escaping, or if you're feeling left out or lost, and you're not protected by the pack, and you're not even part of the pack, that can be very scary. So how are we going to deal with this? Okay, my feeling is that you have to face the fear and go forward anyway. In other words, however scary this gets, however this dynamic ends up being for you, okay, I'm not going to go into the hows and the whys of the details, but just let's say you start to experience like very volatile, combustible dynamics in relationships regarding your life around the time of April 20th, and it could be like chaotic, combustible, scary, and you want to escape. This is saying like that is the worst thing you can do. The best thing to do is hold your ground, face straight up into this energy, know that you will prevail, know that you have to prevail, knowing that the worst thing you could do, it's self-destructive to escape. It's like it's the classic energy of self-undoing. And the 12th house, ruled by Neptune in a classic chart over here, is the house of self-undoing. This is the house of hospitalization, the house of remorse, the house of endings, where you don't really have any power anymore because you've given it all away. There's nothing left. And that's not acceptable. It's not allowed. In other words, Pisces, you're not allowed to play into the shadow side of Neptune or Pisces, okay? And it means you have to be strong. You're going to have to, my feeling is, if you're feeling left out, seek comfort, find others of a like mind, like who are feeling scared as well, and team up, okay? Get support, get help. Don't self-medicate, don't escape. Like, create your own miniature temporary wolf pack if you have to get your life together. Understand how incredibly vulnerable you are at the moment. Understand that you do have the ability to get through this, but it is a decision. You have to make the choice to take the reins of your life, to take control of your life, and face into this stuff, even though you might be quivering and shaking with fear, okay? So in other words, you're going to have to be courageous. You're going to have to take charge of you, be in charge of you. I mean, you've had a lot of momentum already from early March with the huge Pisces new moon. I'm hoping that would have really given you a sense of identity and strength that you might not have had for a long time. But still, this is a challenging thing here, and you're going to need every bit of help that you can get. So my feeling is reach out to the loved ones, the people who love you, that you know you can count on, and just let them know, I need protection. I need to be like part of a wolf pack. I need to be part of a tribe. I want to be with you guys because this is hard for me, okay? And there's nothing shameful about that. There's nothing shameful about admitting that you need the protection and the securities and the comfort of like the people who are on your side, the people who are passionate about you, and the people that you love, okay? And that gives you the strengthening and encouragement to go forth and face this instead of being undermined by all of this stuff. In other words, you can prevail, but you have to make the choice to prevail, okay? All right, Pisces, all the best. You can handle it. Don't worry, you can handle it. Thank you for the subscribes, the likes, the comments. I try to comment. I try to reply to as many comments as I can. Also, please consider becoming a member. That really helps the channel a lot. And thank you so much. All the best. Check out the links below. And please take very close care of your notifications about the channel. There's a lot of learning still happening here. We're all growing together. All the best. Thank you. We'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.